Hi and welcome to this tutorial. We are going to talk about solopreneurs business and how you can monetize your skills to get money. And starting a solopreneur journey is as much about mindset as it is about skills and strategies. And while many people dream of working for themselves, only a few take the leap and even fewer succeed. And why is this the case? It is because building a successful solopreneur business requires more than just technical expertise. It demands resilience, adaptability, and a growth oriented mindset. In this tutorial, we are going to cover and explore what it truly means to be a solopreneur, the pros and cons of this path, and how to cultivate the mindset that you need to thrive. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of whether this is the right path for you and how to set up yourself for success. The agenda of this tutorial is covering the field, an overview of the field and why it is relevant to you as an individual. We are also going to cover the definition of terms and what solopreneurship means to you as an aspiring solopreneur. Why does it matter? We are going to go through the reasons why you should pursue this as a person and what are your chances for growth. And thirdly, you are going to cover the element of the intertextuality, that is application of knowledge from different sources or areas for better positioning as a solopreneur. And so let us get into it. So what is solopreneurship? It is the art of running your own business on your own, doing all the work and having no employee to worry about. In simple terms, a solopreneur is someone who runs a business entirely on their own. And unlike traditional entrepreneurs who often build teams and scale businesses, solopreneurs typically handle all the aspects of their business themselves. And this includes both front end and back end. And this covers marketing, sales, operations, and even customer service. And examples of solopreneurs include freelance writers, designers, or even developers, consultants, coaches, e-commerce store owners, online course creators, or digital product sellers. And there is a key difference between a freelancer, an entrepreneur, and a solopreneur. Although these three terms they almost mean the same, and um, they are constantly confused with each other. So a freelancer is typically someone who works on short-term projects for multiple clients. On the other hand, an entrepreneur builds a business with the goal of scaling and hiring employees. So this guy has a growth mindset in him. That is, he starts with a problem, creates a solution, and then builds a team and a business around it with the goal of hiring employees and then taking himself out of the business itself. And the difference between now the entrepreneur and the solopreneur is that a solopreneur now runs the business alone, and he often has a focus on long-term client relationships and personal brand building. And why is this booming? Why is entrepreneurship booming? It is because the rise of remote work and digital tools has made it even easier than ever to start a business from anywhere. And according to a report by FreshBooks in 2023, the number of solopreneurs in the United States alone is expected to reach 86.5 million by 2027, up from the current 76.1 million. And you can see here there there are good reasons as to why this one entrepreneurship is the way to go. The first one is you get to you get paid per work done. That is, you charge for what you provide, which means that the more you work, the better. So you have the full control of your system. That is, if you work, you get paid with relevance to how much you have put in. Second, there is unmatched growth potential since you can work with multiple clients at a single time, and this expands your earning potential. And also, after you have done this and you get paid, you keep all the profits after expenses. Okay, so this means that you have more in your pocket, you have more earning potential, and all this can be invested, it can be used for personal business purposes. And lastly, you have autonomy and overhead. And what this means is that you make all the decisions for the business of needing any approval. For example, you choose which clients to work for and what projects to take on and how to price your services. All this is dependent on you. You don't need any approval from anyone. Also, you'll have a low overhead, which means that you don't need to hire employees or rent an office. For example, many solopreneurs operate with just a laptop and an internet connection. That's all you need. And by the way, this reduces the barrier to entry, and you have low expenses and unmatched potential for growth. And the direct profit that you get from uh, from the earnings that you get. For example, if you charge $5,000 for a project, that is your income. But you have to minus the costs like software and marketing. But what remains after that, it's all yours. And despite all this, there are also cons. For example, for every pro that you see here, there is a con. For example, for the low overhead and no need to hire employees or rent an office, you may face isolation because you'll be working alone, and this can be lonely at times. And you might miss the comfort of a team and the structure of an office environment. And the workload might be too high, and since you are responsible for everything, um, the workload might even break you because you will be handling marketing, sales, operation, and customer service. And if you are freelance, if for example, if you are a writer, for example, you are not just writing, you're also pitching clients, you're also invoicing and managing even your own websites. Also, for the unmatched growth potential, you might not that you might, you will have inconsistent earnings, especially at the beginning. And there are months where you'll have more work, and others you won't be having any work. And so there is that variability in income. Also, for the growth, it is harder to scale without a team. And so, for example, if you want to take on more clients, you will either need to work longer hours or outsource tasks because there is as much work as your time. That is, you have fixed amount of hours in a day, and you can only take tasks that are within your limit. Without that, you might be forced to outsource. And this is not something that is unique. It is in every business. Okay, so let's continue to the next part. And the next part is on how this is a booming and lucrative venture to start with. So one thing that you are going to talk about, you will notice about solopreneurship is that there is freedom. There is freedom of choice. There is freedom of time. There is freedom of variability in how much and where you are going to work and when you're going to work. And therefore, it is a booming it is a booming feature or a phenomenon in the business world because you are able to work with more than 1.5 billion people who um, who are currently self-employed in the world, serving other people in the world too. And you have the ability to earn more because you have the ability to leverage on time and scale with clients, and you have more personal control. Meaning that if you are personally driven, that is, you have internal drive, then you have more capacity to be compensated for your work and motivation to do so. And therefore, you'll see that more people like us who find it hard or find it not attractive to work under a boss, working as a solopreneur, providing the services that you are being employed for, it's a good venture. because it will give you flexibility, more avenues of growth. You'll have more pivot. You just need the right systems to guide you in making the right decision. That's why we are here. Secondly, there is good technology, which has made it even easier to systematize tasks, which would not have been possible in the past. For example, there are project management softwares, and there are also CRM softwares for managing your clients and work. For example, ClickUp serves as a project management and CRM. There is also the possibility of creating a client dashboard where they can track all the progress of their orders, of their projects, and how they are going to be delivered. The same case with HubSpot. HubSpot is a CRM. It is a complete CRM, that is customer relationship management software. And MailerLite is an email marketing platform, and you can use it to automate emails, sign-ups, and even campaigns. And ClickFunnels is used for automating your sales campaign. Okay, so these are examples of technologies that have come up, and they are making it even easier for you to start and scale your business even sooner. And lastly, there is paid classes where after you have learned this skill over time, you have the potential to be a teacher. You can teach somebody else to do this, and you can create a digital product for that and create a passive income. The same. For example, I am a practicing solopreneur. I started as a business consultant. So I was writing business articles at that time. That was around 2019. Yes, that's when I started my first small company agency. Let me say that it was just an agency for writing services for small businesses, that is SMEs. So after that, Corona came, that is COVID-19 came, and for those clients that we were having, we did remote work. So remote work became a necessity. And so we did not manage to pivot in time, and so that window closed. And then later on I perfected my craft, and I started a company around it. It's called Dollar Managers right now, and that's what I do for a living. So let's continue to with our lesson. And what is the reality? And what can you expect from solopreneurship? First of all, not all work is paid the same. Some of the skills that you are going to sell, they are going to attract more pay than others. Why? Because as you can see in this table, it gives an analysis of the top skills and how much they are paid. For example, writers and editors and transcribers, they garner around 42k per 42k annual salary. And this is because these skills are not high end, they're not in demand, they're not technical. So in my experience, more technical skills get more money. And as you can see, right now the business is run on the crowd in the first world economy. And if in the third world economy, business is run on the ground. For me, I'm in the third world economy, and so some of the factors of production, they favor working in person than on working with the systems. But if you want to grow, and serve the worldwide clients, then you need the technical aspect of it, and that's where IT comes in. And as you can see, programmers, general developers, mobile developers, anything to do with IT and technical stuff, it gets a lot of cash back. Okay, it's because these skills are not readily available, and then there is high customizability. Yeah. Yeah, so there is no one size fits all, so every project is different. That's why they get more because they do more of the work, and then there is less professionals for that, because those who are available, they tend to work for big corporations. And as you can see here, most of the technical stuff like programmers, general developers, mobile developers, web developers, they are past 80K per month, and most of them, they have reached the 100K annually. So it depends on what you're going to provide, but most of us start as writers and editors to get a rough experience of what is happening into the field, so that when you start the actual skill set, now you have the right way of pricing, you have the right formula of managing your finances, and how much you're expected, what are your responsibilities. These are just the launching steps. Okay. And how did this begin? So solopreneurship is more of a continuous process, and it begins when there is a recession. And for the longest time being, uh, human beings don't want to work. I don't know why. And recently, after every recession, there is a lot of laying off. And for example, in the 2008 recession, there was a global market crash, and a lot of people were laid off. Many businesses closed, and people had to reinvent themselves. And that is where the concept of, when a person is faced with ultimate pain or frustration, they pivot or they become creative. Now, this is where this concept comes in, because after 2008, um, maybe some people had savings up next, and once they are used, then you don't know what to do next, because cash value, there's a lot of inflation, that is, and so your money is not as valuable as it used to be. Your property is not as valuable as it used to be. There is more expenses, and things cost more, and so you have to look for ways to get more money. And working for yourself is even more lucrative, because it makes more sense that you need something that you can control rather than something that is controlled by other factors. And so solopreneurship and freelancing, they are dependent and heavily influenced by what happened in the first world nations. And therefore, when, for example, after the 2008 recession, around 2012, there was a boom in online gigs as a way of offsetting financial crisis, which was also coupled up by the presidential campaign in the US, which sets the pace for marketing and social media campaigns. It sets the pace, and if you do not follow the statistics or the plan that they used in the presidential campaigns to appeal to the voters, and replicate that into your business, you are going to be left behind. And that went on. That went on, and approximately it takes approximately 10 years to do the same, to do that. Uh, and we expected, for example, the 2024 elections in the US to incorporate a lot of AI and and personalized deep fakes, deep fake conversations and messages which were geared towards different people. But I think we overshot, and right now we see what they did. Okay, and we continue with that. So after the COVID-19 pandemic, around 2021, there was the rise of second session and remote working. But at this time, there was more tools, and it was an opportunity, not a converging problem. And it brought up a new field of remote working, and it opened up the whole world to new people who are willing to take up the responsibilities and grow themselves. And by 2023, 2024, yeah, um, the people who started working on themselves and working for themselves in the rise of the second recession and remote working, they have already established themselves. They already have established their market, and it continues. It continues, and there is the concept of timing. Everything has a time set, and when this time on the when this window closes, there is no turning back. It's either you go with the flow, and if you start, there is a lot of competition. And that's why we say that the perfect time to start was yesterday. So everybody is supposed to work on what they have right now and get going, because you don't know who has already done it and how much competition you are going to face if you fail to act on your plan right now. And this means that for you to be successful as a solopreneur, you need to have the right mindset. And for example, you need to be resilient, you need to be self-disciplined. That is, you must have the ability to stay focused and productive without any external supervision, because there is no one to hold you accountable. And this is something that you have to build on a daily basis, and create a routine, stick on it, use productivity tools like time blocking, and uh, having the adaptability to pivot when things don't go as planned, because the market, client needs, and technology are always changing, and you cannot come up with something new and expect people to just hop on it. So stay curious and keep learning, and regularly review and adjust your business strategy, because sometimes you may have the idea, but the idea might be too early, maybe it can be on time, or the window might have closed a long time ago. So you may find yourself stuck with an idea that doesn't have any value. So it is up to you to act on it right now. And so you need to have complementary skills apart from having the skill that you are going to sell. For example, let's say you are a programmer. You need to have skills that are going to help you serve the business better. And in my experience, I have discovered that as a solopreneur, you will have to do a lot of writing. And this is because writing will help you relate with your audience. They will help you to communicate what is in your head. They will help you become uh, a better authority or a better trustable person in the business if you can communicate well. Also, even if you are outsourcing the tasks, you need to have the ability to fully describe and to fully describe your work well, your project well, so that the person who is going to see it is not going to produce substandard results for you. And therefore, these three skills that I must have. And if you do not have, please go and learn. And there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on each of these. And remember that having the knowledge is one thing, and practicing it is another. And therefore, when you research this and try to grasp it, make sure that you're practicing it. Have it in your pocket. Just do a small part of it every day, and with over time, you're going to master it. So the first is email copywriting, and this is important because you need to attract new clients, and also you need to understand the attention psychology of your audience, because an email is a busy kind. It's a busy kind of writing, and you have to capture the clients or the prospect first before they even read the rest of the body. And you might have the very best solution, but if you cannot have the clients to do this on, then it means that they're not going to hire you, and it is going to be a total waste. Nobody is going to know that you can do a better work. You will not have a portfolio with your skills there on. You don't have testimonials. Why? Because email copywriting will help you serve the purpose of generating new clients and retaining them. Okay, it also serves as a purpose, the purpose of warming up your leads so that they can trust you in the process and possibly buy your skills later. The second skill is long form copywriting, and this sets you apart by showing how knowledgeable you are in your area. And you need this if you want to last longer. Uh, Long form copywriting can be found in the form of blogs, yes, blog articles, case studies, and for these, the more you talk about something, the more a person can gauge if you know anything about it or not, and it sets you apart from jokers. For example, if you're talking about a topic on finance and somebody keeps on fumbling or mixing concepts, it will be clear for you to notice that this person does not know anything. All he knows a bunch of knowledge on the topic, but is not coherent in addressing it. And therefore, if you can comfortably talk on an idea for a long period of time, or you can comprehensively cover a topic, then it will show that you know what you are doing, you know what you are saying, and you are a trustable person because you're not trying to dupe people by bringing the idea or the notion that you know something about the topic, but you actually know what it means and what you are doing. The other one is storytelling, and people relate well with stories, and your ability to help them relate will make you more trustable and relatable as a person. And you can see this in brands which are trying to personalize their experiences. For example, if you look at these big brands like Nike, Gillette, their campaigns are more personalized. They tell stories. Uh, for every product they launch, they tell a story behind it. For Nike, is about being a good athlete and the challenges that can be overcome if you buy their shoes, for example, the running shoes. For Gillette, is about being a man. Most of the campaigns are about being a man, and this is also the case with even in the food industry, drugs. They all have a personalized approach, and it is a it is a contrasting ideology because as you start, people want to sound, or solopreneurs want to sound as corporates or an organization, while the corporates and organizations, they want to sound more like a person. And therefore, I would suggest and encourage you to maintain that uniqueness of being a person first before trajectorying it to an organization. Let people feel that they are dealing with a person and not an organization behind it. Okay, so people are interacting with other people and not brands. That's why you will see that most personal brands, they have more followers than organizations. You can take a look at the following of Elon Musk and take a look at the Tesla brand. You will see that Elon Musk as a person has more followers than Tesla, the organization. And this is the case with most brands and their leaders and organizations. So you see that people want to deal with a person and not a brand. So keep that in mind. So learn email copywriting, long form copywriting, and storytelling. Those are the three must-have skills that will make you stay longer in this field. So how about the traction? Well, how is the competition? And in this case, we are going to look at first world country, which is the US. And competition is stiff, depending with the field that you are going to go into. And this is more so the case if your field requires you to be a professional and have redundant procedures. For example, you can see here that there is a proportion of freelancers. And freelancing is one example of a solopreneur. So these are the fields, that is art and design, marketing, computer, statistics, construction, personal care and wellness, finance and business operations, skills, management, product manufacturing, office and administrative support. So there is the graph, the 0%, 20%, 40, 60, and 8% refers to the prevalence of freelancers. And you'll see that the art and design is made up of more than any other field. And you can see that it is almost 80% of all work that is done in the art and design industry is done by freelancers. Same case with marketing, almost 60% is done by freelancers. But as you go down, you will see that the prevalence continues to decline. Why? Because most of these tasks, they have high barrier to entry. They require more skills, and also there is high risks. So they are more controlled and regulated by local agencies, and most of them require professional procedures or professional certifications, and also have redundant procedures that have to be followed to the letter. And so this can be done by anybody. And you can see that finance and business operations, they carry like the 9%. So, but healthcare, most of the healthcare, food, they have less, because most of these professionals, they are either employed by organizations, or those who want to go the freelance route. They either go the personal trainer route, yes, the personal trainer, or they are employed, or they get employed by they work with different clients at the same time, and so they are less. Yeah, they are less in the market as opposed to others. And it is even easier to do this because one, you need to create an ideal customer client profile so that you can overcome the competition. So you have to define your audience by creating a customer profile for each demographic for better outreach and messaging. And when you are starting, I need you to do this. One, it's either you target young professionals or retirees. Why? Because for young professionals, it will allow you to discover markets, new markets, connect and learn from the young professionals and learning from them, because these guys, they don't have much upfront, and so they need someone with more skills to help them launch and plant their feet in the field. And the retirees, on the other hand, they have learned everything, but they do not have time. They do not also have the grit, because they have retired, they are old, and but they need something to earn extra income. They are also learning new hobbies, and they also want to learn and earn from them. And so having a good approach when you are working with retirees, it will help you give them the ability and the opportunity to learn and earn at home while they continue with a passion. That is, they continue doing what they were doing before they retired. And this is very good because you'll be serving the purpose of being a good human. At the same time, they're also going to give you something in return for your services. And so, what is the market size, and how much are you able to earn at the lowest end and at the high end? So, as of 2024, that is last year, the total available market was 2.9 billion. Okay, that is for working as a freelancer, and the lowest available net earnings per year is 42k. But the market share is almost 10 million plus that you have to tap in to create value. So the more you create value, the more you get paid. And so there is endless potential to earning, but you have to position yourself well. And I need you to do this. First of all, write your why statement. That is, your why is the reason as to, okay, let me rephrase. Your why is your reason for starting this solopreneurship journey, and it will keep you motivated during tough times. For example, you can start by saying that maybe I want to become a solopreneur because maybe I value freedom and flexibility. For me, I would say that. And my ultimate goal is to earn at least $10,000 per month while working from anywhere, and I'm willing to learn, adapt, and persist until I achieve it. Okay, so I need you to start with that. Start with your why. It will keep you motivated even in times of hardship. And this is very good because it keeps you, when you are more motivated to work, it means that you have the ability to earn more than people who are not motivated. And this generation is very good to to win against other people, because the competition that you are fearing is distracted in social media, in draining relationships, and there is a lot of distractions. And if you go monk mode for at least maybe that to 90 days and work on your craft, it is very easy for you to break even. It is very easy for you to start something that is going to grow beyond you. And when you have your why right, that is, why are you starting this, and what are you yearning to accomplish, then it becomes an internal motivation. Okay, so start with that and then continue with the next part. And so in this next part, we're going to talk about the competition. And for the competition, you are going to face two kinds of competition. One, there is the direct competitors, and these include the professionals in the job market who are currently employed. Those are your first direct competitors. Also, in the direct competitors, there are also other already established businesses working in the same niche, providing the same services, but they are already established, which means that they have more resources, they have more personnel, and it is going to be very hard for you to compete with them. Okay, also the professionals, they are paid to do the work, and so they are expected to provide extraordinary results for them to get paid. Okay, and some of these people, they even come to the market, they explore new ideas, they go back to the company, and the company shifts, and they compete. You are competing for the same market share, and so this puts you in between a hard surface and a rock. In most cases, you're not even going to be at the rock bottom, you are going to be under the rock. And so you need to have the ability to push the rock first, then get to the level of the bottom of the rock, then climb the rock. and then become free by yourself. And so, with that being said, the second set is the indirect competitors, and these people, they don't have the direct effect on you as a solopreneur. And that's because it includes new or young professionals. These are people who they don't have skills yet, or they have not worked themselves up, and these people are going to they don't know how to charge, and when they charge, they produce some of them produce mediocre projects. Trust me, I have seen them, and I have also provided the services when I was a beginner. Sometimes I look back at what I was providing back then, and I say, damn, if a person believed in me when I was like this, then I think they need to meet my new me, who is going to produce even better results. But back then, I just don't want to imagine, because I have seen, because I have a database of what I have been doing all through the years. And last yes last year I took a sneak peek on one of my first orders, which I did. It was on supply chain. Yes, supply chain. And that thing, it was an article. Yeah, it was an article, and it was written in a high school format AC, or something close to that. And mind you, I got paid. Yeah, so these are the people. When someone is young, the skills are not yet there. They will charge less, and so they are your indirect competitors, but they don't matter that much. Another competitor, the indirect competitor, is the foreign markets. They dictate how much you are going to get paid, how much clients are willing to pay, and it is also affected by the value of the cash, that is inflation, and valuation of property, and the need for people to, that is the consumption behavior of people. And the last thing is the government. Government has regulations, and it can pose a problem to you as an individual when you're starting to you are gearing up to starting your solopreneurship journey. And so these indirect competitors, they matter, but they are not supposed to be your central focus when you're starting off. Okay, because you are already past them. And what are your competitive advantages? And there are four main competitive advantages here. And the first advantage is plan of pricing, or pricing plan. And here you can charge per person, per client, per job, or even have membership models. If you're having a service which is redundant, for example, you are doing design for a website, you can provide pricing, or the same service per the job. That is, for example, if the website has these features, you're designing a website and it has these features, they are going to get it at this price. If they uh, for example, you are working on branding, yes, you can have a package, yeah, a package of services, and they can go for a specific price. That's what I was referring to, the job, for example, per person. And then, if, for example, you want to have in a place where a person can make orders, or can make requisition for orders on a consistent basis, you can create a membership model where there is more membership tiers. If you are in this tier, for example, the basic tier, you can order up to a maximum of these orders, and they're going to be delivered on this model. And then if you are in the premium, which is the second, that is there's a basic, a standard, or premium, and then titanium, depending on the names that you're going to give. Then it means that you're going to have more requests, more requisitions, and more work done, and then you're going to pay slightly higher than the person who paid the other plan. And it goes on depending on what you are going to provide. Either it is a digital product, okay, even if it is a system, or you have created a technology which has features limitation. So a membership model can work best for you. And so the variability in pricing keeps you at an advantageous position because everybody has a taste of your product. The second is the seamless integration, which means that you can work anywhere and anyhow, because whether you're on mobile, web, or tablet, your way of working is formatted for all. As long as you have a stable internet connection and a device, then you can work. There is a lot of technology out there that has made it easier that you can work. You can synchronize. You can synchronize all your devices. You can work from any of the devices and still get your work done. Then there is no huge initial capital. So when you're starting, there is low barrier to entry since you only need you and internet to get started. You can even the gadget that you need to use. You can start with a mobile phone because most of the front end tasks they can be done via phone. You can do client outreach, calling, code messaging, code emailing, or even doing research. It can be done. Most of the work front end, it can be done on a mobile, unless maybe you are doing more technical stuff. Then that's when you need a laptop or a desktop. But if you have a phone and a good internet, then you don't need anything else. You just need you. And so that is one of the competitive advantage. You don't have a huge initial capital to start with, and therefore this puts you in an advantageous position. Since unlike other businesses which need to have a physical location, need to hire employees, personal assistants, then it gives you more freedom. Man. So that's a huge plus. And lastly, it is available for all levels. There is a variety of clients available who are suited for different skill levels. Whether you are a beginner, an intermediate, or an expert level, there is always going to be a client available for your skill level. There are clients who do not need too much work done, and therefore, depending on what you have promised and deliver on, it means that there is a client always available for different skill level, because the more advanced you are, the more you are going to charge, and therefore you at every price point you will attract a different class of clients. Okay, so let's continue. How are you going to approach the competition? First of all, you need to lower your cost, especially when you are starting. This is because at the start you will have a significantly lower cost of production than the leading competitors. So because you have low overhead, you have low initial capital, it means that you have less expenses to pay and you have more flexibility in pricing your work. And therefore, you can leverage this by lowering your cost at first and then raising later as your clientele base grows. Then the next competition approach is picking a niche. So pick an area that you are good at and niche down even further so that you can be known exactly for that. Let's say, for example, you write SEO blogs for startups. Okay, That is the broad niche. Then I need you to niche down so that you can be known specifically for something that is going to set you apart. For example, you can go further and say that you write SEO, that is search engine optimized blog articles for startups that are in the eco-friendly niche. So this means that you're not going to just start to write blogs for startups, but startups that are specifically eco-friendly and are in sustainability, that is sustainability models. Okay, so the startups need to be sustainable, eco-friendly. Maybe they're in the recycling, depending on the eco-friendliness that you are looking for. So every service that you are going to provide is going to rotate. Yes, it's going to rotate around eco-friendliness, and so you are supposed to take a niche and then niche further down and put down one area that you are going to be known exactly for. And the last competition approach is being accessible everywhere. So great optimization means that your service can be accessed anywhere, even on a weak net connection. This means that you don't need to have sophisticated systems, and the services that you're going to provide or the skill that you're going to sell, it must be optimized for mobile viewership. They must also be optimized for net, that is the internet connection. So it must have lower byte rate. And for example, if you are going to be writing a blog, it means that you are going to provide a docs file. Yes, a docs file or a PDF, which is standard of size for online publishing. Okay, and if you're going to work on a website, you must ensure that your website is loading at a fast speed, and here we aim for less than 2 seconds, that is 2 seconds and below. That means that your website is fast enough and people are not going to click off. And for Google ranks websites that are fast, they are ranked higher, because it means that the user experience is high and better when you're on a fast website. And that's it. So let's summarize. And in summary, we have said that you don't need a lot to start. You just need yourself, a device, and a good internet connection. And then Solopreneurship is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. Yes, it is not going anywhere. And you need to have a skill to sell to make money, because money earned is a proof of work done. If you have not worked, then you'll have a hard time proving where you got the money from. Okay, and then professional positioning is everything. That's why we were talking about being a professional, niching down, and running email copywriting, long form copywriting, and storytelling, so that you can position yourself as a professional, as an authority in that area, so that people can have more trust in you as a solopreneur, and they associate good stuff, good experience, and good everything about whatever you are doing with you as a person. That's why we are saying also that personal brands have more following than organizational brands. And for example, if you look at Elon Musk, he has more followers compared to his company Tesla. People want to relate more with a person than an organization. And so don't try to sound like an organization, but try to sound like a person. Make sure you are dealing as a person. And then all your work all the skills. They do not pay the same. Some skills pay more, while others pay less. And you need to have complementary skills, which is email copywriting, long form copywriting, and storytelling. They are the cornerstone to better and future proofed freelancer. And if you want to learn more about solopreneurship, we have designed a 7-step action plan to launching your solopreneurship journey, and I have left a link in the description below of this video, and it is going to take you to the course page, and there is a small fee, and you are going to learn everything that you need to start. That is from the skill and ideation, from ideation to scaling. That is everything that you need to scale, to the idea, your idea, where to find your clients, where and how to register your business, financial management, project management, how to write a pitch, everything that you need to have that workflow. And that course is going to give you a rough journey, and it has action steps which, if followed correctly, it is my go-to blueprint. I have condensed everything that I have done in trial and error up to this point. And if I had this knowledge when I was starting, then I think I could even be better off and in a better position than I am. So it is going to shorten your journey by almost 5 years. So I encourage you, and I want you to take action and buy the course today, and see you on the other side. Thank you.